Hey, this is video number 2 for Our Kind of People, Season 1, Episode 7, Fathers, Daughters, and Sisters. Okay, so the episode started off with Teddy on the beach. He's wearing a white linen suit. All of a sudden his brother comes up and he's wearing a white linen suit. And they're just talking, and he was like, brother, I've missed you, and blah, blah, blah. And, they embrace, and so they're just talking. Next thing you know, Teddy goes down. He was like, my heart, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts. And I was like, wow. So he had a heart attack. So, of course, they was trying to prepare him for emergency surgery. So Alex is there. I'm just gonna hit them one at a time. Alex is there raising all kind of drama, right? She's ticked off that Raymond, that her and Raymond had to divorce or probably get a annulment, probably because they end up getting a annulment because her mama done paid her mama and his mama and Teddy Franklin paid her off to leave town so that Raymond can get with Leo. Okay. So so Teddy goes down and they're prepping him, and Alex is on the front porch. Okay, so they're at the hospital, and she was trying to talk to Nikki and tell Nikki about her dad, about Nate. And she storms off. She was having, a moment. She storms off. And she's entitled to have a moment. Because, for 17 years, she's been lied to about her dad was dead or whatever. And she had an opportunity to be with him. And it didn't go down like that. So she's in her feelings. Okay? So Leo talks to the doctor, and the doctor talked to Leo and Angie. So they said that he's gonna need surgery and blah blah blah. So Leo opens up and tells her he has Parkinson's, and she was like, I'm not gonna tell anybody or whatever. And so really I felt like this whole episode Angie was being a leaning, to me, I feel like Leah had somebody to lean on. With all this stuff happening, Leah had somebody to lean on because Raymond, So anyway, so when they got ready to leave and go home from the hospital, right? Because Teddy was, he was admitted. The reporters are on the lawn. So who? Alex is the one answering questions, because at first, Leo was answering questions, and then it was like, so we heard Nate Robinson, and Tariq brought him to the hospital, so now y'all harboring, inmates and prison, inmates and stuff on the compound. I mean, she was just being nasty. And so Leo looked at her or whatever, Raymond looking, yeah, that's your fault, dude. All of it is your fault. You called down the drama. You called her trying to get even, trying to get dirt on Teddy, and she done came to town and she's stirring up all kind of foolery. This woman, she asking stupid questions and pissing Leo off, and so they go in the house. Leo look at him go in the house, and he's standing there looking crazy or whatever. And so, Tariq, okay, so the head staff lady, she tells, I don't know what they call it. She's the head, I'm just going to say she's like the head maid or whatever. She tells them, hey, if they want to know anything, tell them he's unavailable, direct them to me or whatever. So, Tariq comes and he asks her, he asked the lady, do she know anything about his dad? And so she said, I don't know anything, but Darius, he knows everything. He was your dad's friend. And so he was like, well, where can I find him? She was like, he's dead, but he has a girlfriend, an ex-girlfriend, or old girlfriend. You might know her. It's Patricia, whatever her last name, which is Angie's aunt. And he looking like, really? So he goes to ask Patricia about Darius. Patricia act like she didn't know who he was talking about. She was like, oh, I done had plenty of boyfriends during that time. Oh, no, I don't know who that is, baby. Oh, because remember, Teddy told her, while you up in this party, you might want to leave because some of these people still remember who you are and what you've done. And, baby, she had Teddy clean up out of there. So, all of a sudden, when Tariq came and was asking her about old Darius, it rattled her, baby. It shook her to the core. So, I already have figured. I said, oh, she finna bail. She finna hit the bricks. I said, she finna hit the bricks. She about to hit the bricks. The look on her face, then guys, did you see when she had she dropped that cup on the floor? She was shook to the core. Shook to her core. And so Nikki came and she was trying to talk to Angie came, she was trying to talk to Nikki, who was laying in bed, and she was like, I just want to talk to you, because, Nate had gave her a book. He had gave her his journals, and because he had been keeping, he had been keeping, his thoughts and stuff wrote down in a book, and he had told Angie, when he was in prison, how he grew his dreads out of rebellion, and how, that was the one thing he could do, and he put all his frustration and hurt and whatever into those dreads, and not dreads, I'm sorry guys, locks. They call them locks. They do not call them dreads no more. They call them locks. So he put all that into his locks, and so, and she was like, that was your way of coping and getting, that was your way. That was like the one thing you could do that you had control over, which was to grow your locks. And so he told her, can she help him? He wanted them cut. And so they went and had this whole big scene. And because when she went over to the house to see him, he had slept on the floor, and he was like, well, you can't, what is it called, guys? He was like, when you've been like imprisoned in the mind, or it's in the mind. It's not just the natural, but I was in mind in my prison, so I was in prison in my mind. So even though I'm free, I still feel like a prisoner. It's hard to break those habits because you in a, I don't know, 10 by whatever foot cell or however, whatever. I've never been to prison, but I can imagine you don't get much room to move around, breathe, or whatever. And so he was just saying how that the reason he's sleeping on the floor is because that's just, he haven't been released from prison in his mind. That's deep. But anyway, so he wanted his hair done, cut, so she gives him. So they go and do this whole ritual where she's talking, and she's cutting his hair and cutting the locks, and he put them in a bag, and then he threw them in the fire. I thought that was like liberating. It should have been. I think it was freeing and liberating. You know what I'm saying? So he hands her his book, his journal, and so she goes back home and she goes to try to talk to Nikki. And then when Nikki found out she was the reason that she didn't see her dad, she was like, "You were the reason," and she was like, "Well, yeah, I didn't want, I think she was like, I didn't want to, you to see him like that or whatever." But he never stopped loving you. He always loved you. He wanted to be here for you. And she asked what happened, and she said he was trying to do something. He was stealing, and in the process, somebody got shot and killed. and they charged him with accessory after the fact or accessory to murder or whatever. So she was like, well, she was still in her funk. So she was sitting downstairs, and Lauren came over because Raymond had came in, and Lauren was crying, and he came to comfort his daughter. And Nate walked in. He was like, Sophia was supposed to leave me a sandwich, and he was like, hey, he was telling Lauren the relationship with your dad is something special, and you should cherish it, blah blah blah. And so Raymond told him, he was like, you don't have to creep around here, man. You're a guest or whatever. So I guess that's what we doing around here. We just letting anybody come in out of prison and come over it. So Lauren comes over, and she was telling Nikki about her dad. She was like, I think your dad is cool, and a relationship with your dad is so important, and she loved her relationship with her dad, and she actually her relationship with her dad is the best relationship she have in her whole life. And so Nikki was like, well, he left me this book, he sent me his journals, and I'm afraid to read it. So Lauren was like, well, do you want me to read it? So she picked it up, and he was like, this 7 pound 5 ounce whatever, this 7 pound 5 ounce, he was referring to Nikki, as a baby or whatever. And his whole I don't know if it was called a poem or whatever they call that, was about Nikki. And she was like, he's talking about me, and so she comes out. Okay, so finally she comes out of the room, and Alex was all over this episode. She was just always doing something. So she came for Leah again. So Leah had, they was in the office, and she was like, well, how's Teddy's health, and blah blah blah. And so Leah, approached her. She said, you have come for me twice. The third time I won't be so friendly. And she was like, whatever, Leah. She said, Mrs. DuPont, and held her ring finger up. She said, the third time I won't be so friendly. And so they're at the hospital. No, so Leah's at the hospital. And so they look up on the news. What's her name? Alex is back at it again, and she's talking about Nate, and he was a prisoner, and this and the third and the fourth. And Angie said, you can come for me, but you don't come for my baby girl, And Leah even told her, she said, don't come for my family. Like Alex is playing dirty. She's playing dirty. And so Angie leaves, and she go to the hospital, and she tells Leah, that Alex is playing dirty or whatever. You don't come for my baby girl, some stuff should be off limits. Okay, well, she at the hospital, and she go outside, and she, go get a breath of fresh air, right? Yeah. Because, guys, I'm tripping. She go get a breath of fresh air, and she's standing there. Raymond got in the car with Alex. They talking, and he sent her to leave and leave his family alone, blah, blah, blah. And she kiss him. Well, sister girl is outside, and she see the whole thing. So when he comes back in the hospital, they get in the elevator. All three of them get in the elevator. This is Solange, Beyonce, and Jay-Z fight. Angie said, so you just gonna she said something like, you just telling her all the business, you the reason this happening. And she swung, hit him in the jaw, and Leah like, what's happening? And he said, I seen him outside with that reporter. I seen him, and they was in the car together, and they was kissing. And Leah looking like, what? And he was like, it wasn't that. She said, wait a minute, cause he didn't deny it. He was saying it ain't what it looked like. He didn't say, oh, I didn't kiss her. Oh, honey, Angie was in there. She kicked him, and they played the whole scene over. Baby. She was getting at Raymond. Do you hear? She was getting at Raymond. She was fighting for her big sister, honey. She was fighting for big sister. They get out the elevator. She said, I cannot, with you right now. Just go home. And she was like, thank you. You know, and, she was just, not Leah, Angie, this whole episode was just basically saying, baby, I'm here. I'm here. And when you think about it, guys, because I always tell my kids, I have 2 boys, I always tell them, if something happened to your mama or your daddy, the only other person know exactly how you feel is a sibling. You know what I'm saying? They feel the same exact hurt you feel. So Lil, she was so happy. You can kind of see it. She was happy that Angie was there. And then, like, Angie had went, she stayed overnight with Teddy, and she told Teddy, she was like, my mother already passed, and I can't lose you, And so, and actually, she had a tear or two or whatever. To me, that was an emotional moment, because I'm sure down the road is going to still be a lot of drama, but I'm sure a lot of things, a lot of allies, I think Teddy and them are about to do, I think they're going to get together and tear up some stuff, demolish some stuff or whatever. But anyway, he was back. Teddy was back talking to his brother, and this time they're standing over their daddy's coffin, great casket, and his daddy and the brother was saying he was his favorite and blah blah blah, and Teddy was saying, he always felt like he was his favorite, and so Teddy, he started going back, because he was I'm not gonna say hallucinating, but they said, like, you go revisit and stuff like that when you're about to die, or or however, whatever, just different things. And so he was revisiting parts of his life with his brother, and so because they was operating on him. And then the third time the brother came to the room, he had a bullet hole, it cracked dead in the middle of his forehead. For some reason, I'm sure Teddy did that. He had a bullet hole. He was like, yeah, your past is coming back to haunt you. All of the stuff you done in your past, the evil you done is coming back. So Leah finally, she did break down, and she told Angie, she was like, I'm glad, I've always been happy to be an only child, but going through this situation right here, I'm glad you're here. And so, cause see how Alex found out. Oh God! So she go to the hospital. HU, she seen that doctor, and all it took was that, a little flirting or whatever. And she asked him some questions. She said, first, I need you to tell me the status of Teddy Franklin, whatever, and I'll give you a picture, blah blah blah. The doctor done told all his business. So there she go again on TV at the end of the episode. Billionaire Teddy Franklin, he's gonna have issues with his holdings and the people on his board, because he's been diagnosed with Parkinson's and whatever. Leah looked up at at Raymond, and she was like, "Get out!" And when she went back there and got those shoes, guys, I thought she was about to hit him with it. Hit him with them. That's what I was thinking. She went and grabbed those shoes, and she said, get out, because now all the business is out. But the thing of it is, who you brought here is the reason all of this is spinning out of control like this. It's who you brought here. So Nikki had talked to Angie, and she told him she wanna build a relationship with her dad. And so they go to the beach. Nate was sitting there, and they go to the beach, and he get up, and she formally introduced Nikki to her dad, and the two of them walk off. And that's what I love about it. Like, she's giving them space to build their own relationship. But I think her and Nate and Nikki will be a happy little family. Baby, Aunt Patricia done left. She left a little note, handwritten note, says she's going to Boston. She'll call if she can, or when she can, or something like that, baby. Tariq spooked her. I told you she was shaking to the core. When he asked about Darius, I want to know what all happened. I wants to know what all happened. Because, honey, she done did some dirt. And so Leah, so as of the end of this episode, Leah and her sister are building a relationship because Leah see that Angie's not here to hurt, she's not here to harm, she's here to love. Teddy woke up, they prayed. Leah, Angie had prayed, and Leah held Teddy's hand, and soon as she finished praying, he said, I think God heard you. And so Angie was gonna leave out. She said no. And so they stood there. He said, my girls. And they, he embraced, he seemed to be embraced both of them or whatever. And I think the show don't come back on for 2 more weeks. So I guess because Thanksgiving is next week. Guys, can y'all believe Thanksgiving is next week? Man, December's around the corner. And so, but yeah, that was everything. Everything. So, yeah, Teddy seemed to be making, he seems to, he pulled out surgery. He seems to be on the mend. All seems to be well. We shall see. I'm sure those sisters are going to go after Alex and Raymond, baby. But yeah, Nate. And then when Nate cut them locks, I was like, look at Nate. I've seen him on something, I just can't remember. But look at Nate, guys. Is it me? Dude, Nate looks like Marceau from Love and Marriage Huntsville. He looks like a Marceau with hair. Y'all think about it. Go look at the show. Marceau, Love and Marriage Huntsville. That's who Nate looked like. But he was handsome with them dreads cut off, honey. I was like, come on, Nate, you big old towel something. Anywho, guys, I forgot to say it in my last video. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys for everybody who have supported me. Thank you for all the likes, the views, the comments. Guys, thank you for supporting my channel. I will continue to put out more content. I'm adding new things on a schedule as I speak. So just look out for more content. Continue to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all in my next video. Sean's Journey out.